So today I have an unboxing and a test of a product. So this is a Topdon battery tester. Full disclosure, I was sent this in exchange for my honest review. So I will give an honest review, but I did not pay for it. So it is the Topdon BT600, which is a battery tester for all types of 12 volt and 24 volt lead acid batteries. So let's open it up here. So it comes in a box with a, kind of a flap. And then it comes in a case that looks like this. It says Topdon on it. It's got a zipper on one side, and we can open it up and see what's inside. So inside we have 2 rolls of paper, which I'll talk about in a minute. We have the unit itself, the instruction manual, and a tester cable. We also have a USB cable, which is USB-A to mini. So you guys may have seen me in other videos if you watched me in the past. I do have an Ancel battery tester that I use when I do services on my vehicles, and that allows me to test the battery and just see what the capacity looks like and kind of proactively replace a battery if I have something that's that looks like it's going to fail at some point soon. I don't view a battery as it's not something that I want to leave me stranded. So batteries are not incredibly expensive. It's about 200 bucks. Usually you end up having a battery for somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 years. And, so I'll periodically replace them once they fail the test. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the Ancel. We'll talk about kind of when I would buy them. That's about 40 or 50 bucks. It's been a while since I bought that. This is 139, so it's kind of on a different level. But I think that this is more geared towards a shop, while that is more geared towards a consumer or a prosumer, somebody like me that is home in my garage doing work. So the first thing that we want to do, we have it unboxed. We've plugged the cable in. It only goes in one way. So we plug the cable in, and that gives us our clamps to see the actual unit. So what we'll do is we'll plug it into the Mercedes, and we'll test it out. Okay, so on the box it says that it works with all lead acid batteries. So I want to let you know what types of batteries those are. That would be a flooded lead acid battery, wet, which is commonly known as an SL battery. We have an enhanced flooded battery, or an EFB. It works with absorbed glass mat batteries, AGM, which is pretty common in Mercedes-Benz, BMW. A lot of German cars are going to use an AGM battery. It also works in gel cell batteries and VRLA batteries. So most batteries that you would find in automotive, it's going to be a good tester for. It is not designed for any sort of lithium batteries, which are a little bit more advanced and generally are going to be a very specialized type of battery that you would see. And usually they're aftermarket and they're added to high-end Porsches, those types of vehicles, and they're designed to reduce the weight. So this is a 2020 Mercedes-Benz SLC 300. It has 18,000 miles on it. We've had it for about 2 years and 4 months. I did just test this battery a couple of weeks ago when I was doing my service on the vehicle. I just did a B service. The battery itself is actually located below a cover. So you can get the battery terminals. The physical battery is down here, but there are terminals on the top that are designed for jumping and doing those types of things. So we're going to connect to here. So immediately the unit powered on, and it says 11.74 volts. Now the car is off, so that's a pretty expected battery. So we've got a couple different things here. We've got a battery test, a cranking test, a charging test, and review data. And one thing that I do want to touch on too is that this does have a printer. So, all right. So first we're going to do battery test. That's the top one, battery test, enter. Battery type, flooded, AGM, gel, or EFB. So I'm going to go down to AGM, hit enter, and it's going to ask for the standard that they're using to measure the battery. So in this case, cold cranking amps is what we use here in the United States for the most part. And it's giving me, I have to turn up or down the number on the test. So I know this is an 800 because like I said, I just tested it. So we'll do 800 CCA, which it says right on top of the battery. So if you're looking for that, it should be on a label right on your battery. We'll hit enter. Do you want to continue the test? Enter. Testing. Okay, so it says good charging, and it gave me a result. Now, I'm going to hit enter, and it prints me off a result. Good charging, charge percentage, the voltage, the health, the measured cold cranking amps, the rated cold cranking amps, and the type, that it's an AGM, the internal resistance, and the serial number of this unit. So that all prints out here on this test report. So it's just like a receipt that you would get from a restaurant. So let's go back and let's try a cranking test. So we'll go to cranking test, enter, please start engine. And it gives you 30 seconds to do so. Cranking time, 3,175 milliseconds, and it dropped down to 9.99 volts. Enter. It's going to print me off a report. So there is a cranking test. Normal, voltage, cranking time, etc. Let's go back. Let's do a charging test. Please start engine, press enter to continue. So the engine is started. Now it's doing a charging test of the alternator. Testing. Increase speed to 2,500 RPM. Keep it for 5 seconds. Press enter to continue. All right. Charging normal. Hit print. All right. So that's my last test. And then I have the option to review data. Good charging. Cranking test. Charging test. I can see all three. Let me see if it lets me print. Okay, so it lets me reprint the last tests that were run. So let me shut the car off. All right. So functionally, it's very similar to the Ancel unit that I use all the time. It is significantly more expensive, but the difference is that this has the ability to print results. And let me talk to you about why I feel that's important for somebody like a shop. It's not necessarily important for me at my home garage. I think something like the Ancel is going to work just fine. But if you own a shop, I think that this is a valuable tool to have. In the past, I worked at a company that did car electronics installations. It was in Northeast Pennsylvania, and this was like, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2010 to 2012, somewhere in that year range. So we were doing a lot of car stereo, Bluetooth was pretty popular at that time, headrest DVDs, overhead DVD systems, and we did a lot of remote car starters. And, it's the northeast part of Pennsylvania. It got relatively cool in the winter. It was hot in the summer. People wanted it to either start their AC or to start their car and keep it warm. So what we would often run into is that people would bring us cars that were 3, 4, 5 years old, and they would have us install remote car starters in them just after their warranty had expired, because a lot of people are worried about the possibility of voiding their warranty. So we would install a remote car starter. And we did a lot of CompuStar and other directed electronics, some Crime Stopper products. All of our bypasses, our immobilizer bypasses were iDataLink, so the ADS-AL-CA and the ADS-TB. So we installed a lot of remote car starters. And what we would see from time to time is that we would have a person that would come back with their remote car starter not working 2 or 3 times in the period of a couple of weeks. And every time we would be able to get in the car, reprogram the brain that actually ran the remote car starter, just go through the setup process. It would learn everything and work just fine. And what we would find in a lot of those cases when we ran a battery test on the car was that the battery was really weak. So what was happening was, first thing in the morning, it would be super cold outside. They would press the button to start the car. The car would crank and the voltage would drop well below, 9, 10 volts. And it would, hit maybe mid-8s. And during that time, the voltage was so low that it would cause the brain for the remote car starter to reset itself and go into like a factory default setting and need to be reprogrammed. It didn't happen all the time. We installed, probably 20-ish a day remote car starters for about a 3-month period every single year. And we would see, a half a dozen come back a week for, a very minor thing, a dead battery and a remote, the brain needed to be reset, something, they took it in for service and something got disconnected. These were pretty common things that we would see on a regular basis, but there's probably one a day that we would see where somebody would come in for service. We did a lifetime warranty, and we would be honoring that lifetime warranty and reprogramming whatever they needed, replacing a battery and a remote, reprogramming or reconnecting something that a overzealous service technician had maybe disconnected. So this is where the battery tester that has the receipt is really important. In those cases, we would see a car that would come back, and it would come back and we would reset it and everything would work. And then it would come back and we would reset it and it would work, but we'd take a little bit of time and diagnose it. We put it on a battery tester and the battery tester would report that the battery was bad. And our recommendation to the customer would be, hey, your battery is bad. It is operating at a low voltage, and while it's still starting your car, it's unfortunately dropping below what the remote car starter is comfortable with, and it's causing the remote car starter, the brain, to kind of freak out and lose its settings. And the recommendation would be that they replace their battery. And we would give them a printout of that result so that they could have that for themselves as kind of a way to verify that, here, we ran a test, this is what our machine reported to us, and here are the results of that test. We didn't sell batteries. We didn't get any benefit out of somebody buying a battery. It didn't help me out in any way. There was an auto parts store next door. Oftentimes I would just tell the person, go over there, grab a battery. They would bring it back over. I'd install it for them for free because I knew it wasn't going to come back once they installed that battery. So I guess what I'm saying is, for myself, if I'm buying one for my garage, I think this is an awesome unit. It works really, really well. Did everything I needed to do, starting test, charging test. It supports AGM batteries, which are more advanced. Does a normal battery test. Reports line up with what I saw in my Ancel when I just tested it the other day. So I think it's a really good unit. It seems accurate compared to the one that I have that I trust, and it works really well. The benefit for this is going to be for a shop, where somebody can print a receipt, where somebody can print the results of a test. They can hand them to a customer who might not believe that their battery is bad, or maybe doesn't want to spend $200 on a battery, and say, here is the result of this test that is proving this problem, that it's going to cause electrical issues for you with your vehicle, and we recommend that you replace your battery, and here is the results of a test that's done by a machine that we trust. It's a nice unit. It's got this rubberized grip, nice casing. It comes with 3 rolls of paper, and it uses pretty standard paper. I think it's 2 1/4 inch, which is a standard thermal paper that you can buy like for a cash register. Very easy, readily available. You can buy it on Amazon for a couple bucks. It is a serialized battery tester. Like I said, it's rugged. It's got this nice rubber grip on it, so if it hit the ground, I don't think we'd have any problems with it breaking. The cables are nice and thick and heavy duty. This removable cable is nice as well. It comes with a nice case. It arrived to me unscathed in a box that was undamaged and packaged well. So, I don't really have any complaints about any of it. I think it's an awesome unit. I think it works really well. I think for your average home garage, it might be a little overkill, but I will sell my Ancel, or, give it to one of my kids or something along those lines and keep this. This will be the one that I keep. You don't have to print the data. It's nice to be able to do that. You can just review the results right on the screen like you can with the Ancel, but the option to print the data would be super valuable for a shop. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll have a great day.